When you're supposed to record on Lotus Bird, instead you're on here. That's me. Yes, everyone, welcome back to Creative Mode. We are doing this instead of the series that I really should be doing right now. Last episode was the suggestion of a mysterious portal, and we put this wonderful thing here in the woods. So let's see what we're building today. We have a total of 35 suggestions. Some of them are quite interesting, so let's see what we're going to have today. It's a... Oh, okay, that was close. Honestly, I thought it was going to be the spaceship falling through a wormhole or whatever that one is. But no, we got giant stone golem. Okay, that is an interesting one. Because, like, first of all, what does this golem look like? Is it gonna be like a Minecraft golem? Is it gonna be like a... I don't even know what a realistic golem would be. Is it gonna be humanoid? Is it gonna be like... I don't know. This one is left very much up to interpretation. Like, in my head, when I imagine a stone golem, like, I kind of imagine... I think it's sort of like the one in Minecraft Legends or something. Or, like, maybe I'm thinking of something in Clash of Clans? I genuinely don't know what to do with this. Like, is it gonna have human proportions or is it gonna be different? And the other big question is, where does it go? Like, I kind of don't have a place for a massive stone golem. I feel like the mountains would make sense. So are we gonna be adding to the mountains? Could it go here? You know what? Here does feel like a good spot, like if I made sort of a valley through the mountains, but that still doesn't answer the question of what it looks like. Time to take to our wonderful friend Google. Okay. It's kind of what I expected, honestly. I'll be honest, that hasn't really helped. I feel like we could kind of go into the fantasy sort of style. So, like, what if there's different types of golems and everything? It's like you could have, like, a lava golem or something, like a volcanic one. Or, like, I don't know, maybe a forest golem if the forest wants to load in down there. Like, you could have a forest golem that's sort of, like, covered in a bunch of vines and overgrowth and everything. Maybe you could just have, like, a mountainous golem and everything that's got a bunch of dirt and stuff on it. What type of golem do we do? I quite like the idea of maybe a mixture of the mountain one and the forest one that I just said. Like, one that's very overgrown, I think. Like, have you guys ever played Subnautica? Like, if we take a look at the reef facts in Subnautica or something like this, like a massive creature that's so big that it just essentially becomes its own ecosystem. I like the idea of that. That seems fun. A massive golem that's, like, sort of got its own environment on its back or something. But that still doesn't answer my question of what it looks like. I have an idea. This is an idea that I've been considering. So if any of you guys watch Mumbo Jumbo or something, you might know that, like, in some of his most recent videos, he's been sort of, like, making drawings of what he plans to build, and then taking those builds and putting them into Minecraft. Now, I'm no artist, but I might be able to draw. You know what? Yeah, Creative Mode's about to become an art project. Let's see, will this work? Oh! Oh my god, that actually worked. Dude, look at that. You know what? I'm honestly impressed. Okay, so I've got a stylus and I can draw on this tablet, as you can see, so let's see what I can do. I am by no means an artist. Like, that drawing is not very good, but I do think it has helped to sort of get an idea of what I want to build. It's also sort of given me a better impression of what environment I want it to be in and stuff. And you can also get a sense of scale given like the little person I added in the corner, you know? So I think genuinely that image does kind of help, as pathetic as it may be. And I think because I have now decided on the environment, I think I was correct in the first place. I sort of really want to put a valley here to have it live in. I think there's something just really cool about the idea of you turning a corner and there's just a massive golem. Like, that would be terrifying, but also absolutely awesome. Which means we're gonna need a mountain range. And, like, not just any mountain range as well. Like, this has gotta be a big one. If I take a look at the world map, so we have our volcano over here. We've got, like, the rest of the land over here. God, we might actually double the size of this place. Because what I'm sort of thinking is, like, the valley sort of curves round here and everything and loops back around, which means I'm gonna need, like, mountains here. I'm gonna need mountains there. This is a big project. A really big project. Am I sure I want to take this on in one episode? Heck yeah, let's go for it. So I guess what we need to do right now is start planning out these mountains. Oh, I love this. So yeah, that's gonna take a lot of work to do. Like, that's a massive area. We might genuinely double the size of this world again. So, like, you know, curve it around here, put some mountains here to sort of divide it from the castle at least, because I don't think it would make sense for the golem to be right here with the castle right there. As cool as it would be to build it attacking something as well, I don't think that's in my skill set. So we'll go with what we have for now. And what we have is a general idea of the shape of this place. So without any more time just spent rambling on ahead, let's get on with planning this mountain. This is big. Can someone please tell me to, like, calm down with each episode? Look at how much we've built. And as always, this is just for scenery. Like, it's not even for the actual build itself. It's not even the topic. This is just a place to put the actual topic, the giant stone golem. And if we take a look at the world map, how big is it? Oh my god. It is like a full third of the map. I can't even load the full thing in render distance. Look, it's sort of fading out in that direction. It's also fading out over that way. But anyway, so this terrain right now is not done. As you can see, the massive path that is going to be needed going down here, I haven't done that yet. Kind of because I plan on sort of doing the terraforming on that a little bit different, maybe. Or like, I sort of want to smooth it out differently, so I don't think I'm going to involve it in this command. Because, yeah, we're about to run a massive command here. Just like a lot of the time when we're terraforming, we need to smooth out the terrain. Because currently, this is a very rough landscape. It doesn't look that nice. So if I just come to around here and do position 1, if I do a double slash, that is, let's fly all the way back over to the other corner, all the way down here. I need to make sure that I've actually got the full area. This should cover it. Then do position 2, and now we crash my game by running slash smooth sand. And we'll just give it some time. Give it quite a lot of time. Yeah, a really big amount of time. Oh, stuff's happening. Stuff's happening. The terrain is smoother. As always, you've just kind of got to fly down and actually load in the chunks properly. Look at this. What does it look like on this side of the valley? Is it looking good? I think it is. You know what? That did not take as long as I thought. Normally, that command takes around 5 minutes. That's what it took on the volcano that's over there somewhere. And given this is a very similar size, I honestly expected the same, but that was a lot shorter. here. There we go. Look at that. We've actually got some pretty decent looking terrain. What's this gonna look like? Come on, load in the chunks. I know you can. There we go. And up here as well. There we go. Absolutely perfect. Okay, maybe perfect's the wrong word. It could definitely do with a little bit of improvement, but it works. Now, we have got an issue that I was actually expecting. So if we look at this underneath, yeah, we get this issue. This is because when you run the smooth command, it doesn't try and smooth it to whatever is around it. So, like, it doesn't try and smooth the terrain here down to the red wool here. It tries to smooth the terrain down to the ground at the bottom of the world. So because all of this is floating, essentially it pulls these cracks in the terrain right through the bottom and sort of tries to smooth it all the way down to the ground. Now, unfortunately, it's an absolute pain to fix because essentially I just sort of have to replace a layer here and then put the sand back on top to sort of smooth it out like that. Except, of course, I have to do this around the entire thing. However, that's just kind of something I have to deal with. I can't exactly do anything about that. And also, I've only just this is gonna be so cool, like coming down the valley and the forest is there. Dude, I love this world. This might actually be my favorite world I have created. And it's only gonna get better, but I kind of need to, you know, finish the mountain. Now, it does call into question though, how are we going to texture these mountains? Because I have got an interesting issue here. I need to go from this sort of black rock mountain over here into this sort of mountain over here, the one that is much more grass and dirt based. I'm not entirely sure how to do that because last time I had to deal with the issue, it wasn't really too bad. It was just sort of in this area here, which, like, now that I look at it, yeah, that actually could have done with some work. But, like, it wasn't too difficult to sort of go from a single peak here into a different sort of style. However, over here, this is all connected. Like, this is connected to that, and that is going to need to use that terrain, but it's connected to this terrain. This is a bit of a complicated issue to explain, but essentially, I think I'm going to need to somehow find a way to blend it from the black sort of rock terrain here into the grass, which is, to put it simply, not easy, but I think we're just gonna need to try. So luckily, because all of our gradients are worked out, because it is just replicating the other gradients that already exist, this might not take an eternity. So let's get to work. I need to calm down. Genuinely, I don't know what is wrong with me. How much have I just built? Like, it was just supposed to be the mountain and the path and stuff, and then I saw the forest, and I was just like, oh, the forest has to continue up the mountain here, so it's just like I added the forest, and I mean, like, it looks cool, but oh my gosh, like, do I want to maybe give myself a break or something? Look at how much there is. And you know what's even worse? It's probably not even going to make for a good time lapse. I don't even think I can time lapse this because it's so big that, like, whilst working on this, all of the chunks are just unloading and reloading really quick. So if I render this in a time lapse, what it's honestly probably gonna look like is just constant flickering as I go back and forth and stuff. I mean, like, it looks awesome, don't get me wrong. It's just, I've done all of this for one topic. It's not even the topic. Like, at least when I did the volcano was the topic. Like, at least building all of this made some sort of sense. I've just gone and added this for the scenery. Although, what I will say, it does look really cool. I think my favorite bit is now looking at the castle from this angle or something. There's something really cool about, like, the mountain in the background behind me there, and then, like, these two peaks here with the trees and the castle in the middle. Like, this just looks really cool. And I'll probably show what it looks like with shaders at the end, as always. But yeah, if we go into spectator, because creative mode is way too slow flying around here. As you can see, like, fairly sort of simple stuff. It's just a valley through the middle of the mountains. Let the world load in here. Like, it's just a fairly simplistic valley through the mountains and stuff with some trees on the side. The forest here really is not that dense. Like, you might be able to notice it quite easily if you look at, like, the forest from last episode compared to the forest here. But as you can see, there is a huge difference in the density of trees here. Like, you can see the ground here and stuff down here. Like, this is just dense. Like, look at how much ground you can see in that forest compared to how much of the ground you can see here. It's very different, but it doesn't seem to be too bad from the ground. And honestly, it looks quite nice the way it is, so I'm not gonna change that. I think I like having the mountains quite visible as well. But anyway, so I suppose now we should actually, you know, get on with the topic. And this is still something I am not too sure how I'm going to build. Like, I know I have my little, like, really awful concept sketch, but, like, I still don't know how I'm going to do it. There's a cylinder of leaves here. That's interesting. So I think as well, something that I might change from my drawing at the start is I think instead of it sort of having 4, like, just blank legs, I guess, like, it doesn't really have any fingers or anything like that. I think I want to change that. I feel like I kind of want to make it a bit like, you know how a gorilla is? Like, a gorilla walks on its closed fists and stuff. I sort of want to do that, but with stone. And I think that does actually give us a fairly good starting point to build off of. So, like, if I go with a shape like that or something for its, like, I guess fingers, and then, like, this is sort of its hand here, yeah, that kind of works. I think maybe add a slope here and curve it off like that. That seems quite good. And then, of course, we kind of need to add more fingers. So we can do, like, different shapes as well, I think. Yeah, this is seeming good. And let's, like, indent one of the fingers back or something. Let's go with a shape like that. Yeah, that works. I think maybe I need to bring down the hand a bit. There we go. I think that's a bit better. Is 3 fingers enough? I feel like 3 fingers is enough. At the end of the day, this thing is not human and it doesn't exist. So we can kind of do what we want with it. So then, like, maybe if we sort of round off this hand, it feels like the fingers are maybe a bit too long. I don't know. Let's see what it looks like as we build the rest. So I think sort of another idea that I've had for this, I sort of want each part of its arm, or like I guess each part of itself, to sort of be its own individual rock, but then we can connect it up with something like deep slate or something between all of the joints. So then, like, if the next part of the arm starts here or something, I feel like this could be a cool way of doing it. Yeah, I quite like that idea. So then, like, this would be sort of the lower arm, and then you would have the upper arm somewhere up there. This is going to be big. Let's see what I can do with this. Okay, so you can kind of see a general shape of an arm forming here, and you can also get a sense of scale for how big this thing's going to be. I think the upper arm, it definitely sort of needs to be roughened up and everything. It definitely needs to be wider. This is currently like a massive sort of log attached to a twig. But it's definitely coming along well. And for someone that says that, like, they're normally not that good with biological or living things, I think this is doing good. Okay, so I've kind of got something coming along. I mean, it's missing legs, but you can sort of get what I'm going at. So, you know, here's the arm that we built first. This is mostly unchanged, but now we have added on, like, a little bit more of it. So this is the body, and I'm trying to not make any of this perfect. I'm trying to make it feel like you could have just ripped this boulder out of the ground, and for some reason it just has a face. That's kind of the impression I'm trying to get, and I think I've got that. Like, it's got a little bit of a hunchback sort of thing, if you look at it. It's not perfectly spherical. In fact, it's not really spherical at all. It's more of like a stretched oval. And even the arms, I think, are at like different thicknesses and different lengths. depths. It's a very imperfect creature, which I think is what makes it look so good. And then, yeah, if you look at the head and stuff, like, it's a very sort of weird shape. It doesn't look very natural, but I think it kind of works. So as you can see, like, the joints are still going and everything. We're still doing the cobbled deep slate joints. I really like the look of that. And we've also got the glowing orange eyes that I had in the picture and stuff. I am really excited to see that in shaders at night. That could look really cool. And then, like, it's sort of split into two halves, as you can see. Like, this is sort of the jaw. I needed to mark out the jaw in a different color. When it was stone, it wasn't really clear that this was its mouth, but I think now it's made quite clear. But anyway, so what I need to do now, I need to sort of, like, turn all of that light blue wool into stone. I've been using the light blue wool to sort of plan stuff out. And then I need to add the back legs, and I think those are going to be my biggest issue, because I'm still not entirely sure how to do them. But, you know, we'll just see how it goes. That has come out way better than I thought it would. And it's still not done, but, you know, like, I think genuinely that has come out really well. So I'll take you guys a little bit through the thought process. Sorry, this took me a few attempts to say. I will take you guys through the thought process. There we go, got it. Because essentially there were a few different decisions that I decided to make when I was designing this to sort of come out with a design for it. So first of all, I took a lot of inspiration from how gorillas act and stuff, which I think I said earlier, which is why if you look down here, then you'll notice he's walking on a closed fist the same way that gorillas sort of do. He's also sort of hunched over in that same shape of a gorilla when it's on all fours. He's also got like fairly thick arms, and honestly I might need to make these even thicker because of course this is a massive boulder. Like, it is having to carry an extreme amount of weight, so really you would expect it to be quite strong here. Even though I don't think this thing is technically made of muscle and stuff, because like, how? So I don't think it sort of needs to have those living sort of things, like it needs to have large muscles. But at the same time, when you're looking at this, like, obviously, like, it's still gotta be fairly sturdy and stuff. Even if it's not got muscles, the materials still have to hold up the weight. Then, when you come to the back, that leg needs a little bit of work. If you'll notice, the legs are actually sort of inverted. These are a different way to the way your legs bend. Human knees go forward. However, if you actually look at most animals, including like cats and horses and stuff like that, you'll notice their knees actually go the opposite way. I'm pretty sure that's actually because, like, technically knees are not really knees in a lot of animals, but like, that is a bunch of stuff I don't want to get into now. I am not a biologist and I am not going to claim to be an expert in any of that. But yeah, essentially it's got like inverted knees and stuff. And again, I think the like one final thing that I sort of mentioned last time was that it's sort of got a bit of a hunchback. Basically, I wanted this thing to look like you just grabbed a massive boulder out of the ground and for some reason it's alive. So yeah, I think what we need to do now is actually texture it. Like, obviously this is very plain right now. Like, I still think it looks quite cool. It's just got a very flat texture. So what I really think it needs is firstly like a lot of cracks in it and stuff, a lot of weathering, a lot of damage. And also, I want to add that really mossy and sort of overgrown back to it. I want to give it that ecosystem. So for what might be the final time now, let's get to work. I think we have a stone golem. And for someone who very often says that they can't build living things, I am incredibly proud of this. I actually love how this has come out. Am I allowed to say it's my favorite build again? I feel like I'm saying that every episode, but at the same time, every episode I keep building something that I'm even more proud of and stuff. So yeah, if you're wondering what I've done, well, obviously I have gone and added a bunch of greenery on the top. top, just like I said I would. You know, that was in the drawing. It was always going to be covered with moss. However, we've also now gone and added some nice little trees and everything that have gone on top of it. And a little detail here is these trees are actually the exact same texture as the trees in the forest where it lives, because obviously, like, if you're gonna have camouflage, or maybe this isn't even camouflage, maybe this is just actually grown on top of it, you're gonna expect the exact same sort of colors and stuff. I have also added some nice sort of hanging moss and greenery down the side, so you can see we've even got the slight detail of a few glass panes here. That's like a really nice sort of hanging, stringy sort of moss there. The other thing that we've done is sort of add a bunch of leaves wrapping around it and everything, so you can see this in a lot of different areas. This is just kind of like to add a little bit more greenery to it and make it look a bit more overgrown. Like, the way I sort of see it, this creature, it probably like lives here and like it gets overgrown and stuff, but it's just one of those creatures where like it really doesn't care. In my opinion, this dude is chill. Like, I reckon he's probably a herbivore. I doubt he goes after like people and eats them and stuff. And also, like, at the end of the day, he's massive and made of stone, so who the hell is going to attack him? Absolutely no one. So, like, really, it just kind of doesn't care about predators. He's just a cute little guy. Also, as per the request of Buzzy Combs, this guy is now named Squishmush. Squishmush the dry... Squishmush... Squishmush the... I can't say this. Squishmush the giant stone golem. And you know what? I think it's fitting. I love this guy. He's so cute. I genuinely love it. But anyway, now it is time that we give Squishmush his well-deserved home. Now, I'm not entirely sure how to move him. Like, this is a really big build to try and place into the world. And it's also something I've never really done. Last time I designed anything outside of the world itself, we then just sort of copied it over. This thing, I'm not rebuilding this. I'm gonna actually move it. Or I guess make like some sort of duplicate, but like I'm not rebuilding it manually. Okay, so I think that is corner 1. Then we sort of need to find, is this the furthest point this way? No, this is the furthest point this way, I think. Yeah. And it's also the furthest point out to this side. Okay. And then I need to find the correct height. Although, to be fair, I could just make it taller. That doesn't actually matter. So yeah, we'll go with around there and set that as position 2. Then I think if we come and find like a nice place to stand, I think around here is probably best. And if we do / copy, 200,000 blocks in this thing. Now, this probably isn't the best way to do it with a brush, but we're gonna try it. So if we do / brush clipboard, and then I think -A and O. So what that means is -air and -origin, which is sort of a bit confusing if you don't understand world edit, and I'll be honest, I don't even entirely understand that command. There's leaves missing from that tree. I've only just noticed that. That's now really annoying. But if I am correct, essentially what that means is when we paste this, it shouldn't create a bunch of air around it. Instead, it should only paste in the empty air itself. So what that means is, like, if I paste it and there's a massive tree here in the way or something, we're not just going to carve a hole in that tree. We're essentially just going to paste right through it. But we're not going to leave empty air there. So if I just do a quick practice paste down there. See, this is what I mean. It hasn't gone and created like a massive pit in the ground that we would have copied because we haven't copied the air. So that seems to have come across well. I just need to align it in here. So where is a good place for it? Well, in my opinion, I think down here at sort of the lowest point in this little valley. Because if we take a look at Squishmush or his twin, basically you'll notice this is the lowest point, this foot here. His front 2 feet are actually above the ground, and this one I think is on the ground, but it's still higher up by, what is that, like 2 blocks, 3 blocks? So Squishmush is sort of like stepping up uphill in a way. So maybe actually what we should do is align it with like a bit of terrain where it's 3 blocks up in front, which is a bit complicated. I think our best bet is around here. And in fact, if we just like, let's just pick that block and then break a hole in the ground. And then we paste right here. Hi, Squishmush. Look at that. Absolutely perfect. That was perfect. Oh, maybe we should move him a little bit to the side, or maybe we should remove these 2 trees here. Yeah, I think maybe these 2 trees need to go because they're kind of inside him. Like, I know he's sort of, oh, I just accidentally pasted, sorry, other Squishmush, you can't be there. Like, I know he's sort of walking past them, but I don't think this tree would still be standing, especially since, like, his arm would have come right through there. And this one, maybe this one can stay. I don't know. I might just clear away some of the leaves around where his arm is. But other than that, I think we got the placement quite well. And you might be thinking, oh, but like his lower feet, they're partially in the ground and stuff. Well, another decision that I made with Squishmush was like, when I was looking at this, I was like, how does he walk? Obviously, like, this guy, he's big. So instead of sort of giving him feet, I decided the best way he probably walks is probably something like this. Extremely flat feet, but with little spikes that go into the ground to keep him steady. So the way he's pasted over here actually makes sense. Like, his feet are flat on the ground, but the spikes have gone in to keep him steady. So yeah, I think if we just undo pasting Squishmush, You wanna undo? Squishmush? There we go. I think what we're gonna do, we're gonna clear this tree here. Just like that or something. And then we can paste Squishmush right back in the same place and just replace the ground there. And look at that. We now have a wonderful giant stone golem just standing right in the path. I would not want to run into this thing in the middle of the night. Speaking of nighttime, I now really want to see what this build looks like in different sort of contexts. So, of course, here he is in the day, but if we turn on shaders, what is this gonna look like? This is almost my favorite part of every episode, seeing it with shaders. Oh, Squishmush. Squishmush, you look legendary. Look at you. But now comes the big question. What do you look like at night? Oh, dude, just look at that. Look at that. The glowing eye just makes that perfect. It just legitimately makes that perfect. I think maybe I need to remove the trees down there. I think I do need to remove the tree that's sort of around the edge of him. But other than that, Squishmush is perfect. Dude. I'm so happy with this, and I'm lagging because this is such a detailed area now. I do not think this could have come out better. Just look at you. Look at you. You're brilliant. You're actually brilliant. You look so beautiful, Squishmush. Just like the way everything's lit up around you and stuff as well. You are amazing. I'm saying it again, favorite build. I know I say it every episode, but this one's gonna be hard to beat. But if you think you can beat it, now it's your turn again. If you have any suggestions for something you want to see built into this world, leave it in a comment below. It will get added to the list, and who knows, maybe it will get picked next time. But also, I have another quick request. So, Squishmush, obviously, like, he's a creature, and you could assume that there's probably more of him in the world somewhere. Like, you tend not to get just one individual creature. Like, normally it will be a species or something. It's not a singular thing in the world. So, I want you guys to see if you can come up with some sort of explanation for these golems. Like, if you can, in the comments, see if you can make some sort of, like, story around these stone golems. Where do they come from? What do they eat? Like, how have they been impacted by humans? Because, you know, humans do exist here. There is a massive castle just over this hill. Personally, I think my theory would be these things, like, they live up in the mountains and stuff where we put them right now. They sort of sit still for months on end, which is what leads to this overgrowth on their back. back. I think there's probably like a decent number of them. They're not in danger of going extinct or anything, but they are definitely rare. They're quite spread out across the world. And for the last question of how they've been impacted by humans, I don't think a human would even attempt to do anything with this. Okay, my game just crashed. Honestly, I think if you turned the corner and you saw this thing and you did anything other than think I'm going to leave that the heck alone, firstly, you are mad. Secondly, you are asking for death. Because even though I think these things personally would be quite peaceful, I think if it had to defend itself, well, you're becoming a splatter on the ground. But anyway, that's just my personal theory. If you have any other theories or suggestions for builds, leave them in the comments, and hopefully I will see you in the next episode. This is just, it's absolutely my favorite build.